We are here at Raymondskill Falls in or near Milford, Pennsylvania. This is the tallest waterfall in all of Pennsylvania. We will see 2 tiers of it in the hike, and I'm going to get really vulnerable. So if you don't like vulnerability, or you don't care about seeing the falls, then you don't need to stay. But if you do want to see the falls and you're not totally annoyed by vulnerability, stick around, make a comment, let me know that you like this video, and let me know if there's something else you'd like for me to cover besides what you've seen so far. Because, I make these videos because I like it, but I also want to give you something to think about. I want you to enjoy it, and maybe it will inspire you in some way. Whatever happens, let me know in the video. Let me know in the comments. I've already recorded this twice. I'm not going to do it again. Mistakes are beautiful. Mistakes are fabulous. Mistakes say that you're alive. Enjoy the rest of the video. It's a short meander. And as I was walking this way, this is a trail that I had thought I could take one of my less mobile family members to. It was winter though. In fact, I've never been on this trail in the spring. Well, actually, I did come here in April of 2024, but there were no leaves on the trees yet. So it's quite a different view here now. It was pretty then. Wow, it's really pretty here now. Last year when I came here, there were no leaves on the trees yet. So there are really good views. Right now I'm at an overlook, and this is the view. You can hear things, but you can't see much. I'm going to keep going. And it's interesting because this is probably the easiest to get through. There's some benches over here ahead of me, which is where I would have taken my family member who is less mobile, has mobility issues. Even so, it's all, it's not dirt, it's like a rock path. It's a nice trail. For you real hikers out there, for you who hike a lot, this is nothing. But for people who have mobility issues, it's a big deal. The other thing is, I thought that Dingman Falls would be open, but it's not. It's closed already for the summer. They're hoping to have it open by the fall. That's a real big disappointment for me because I love that place. That's one of my favorite places to go. And it is people with wheelchairs, walkers, difficulty walking, mobility problems. There's a boardwalk. And so, as I recall correctly, you can get almost to where the falls are if you need assistance walking. So I was looking forward to going to that. I don't have mobility issues. I can go all the way to the end, and they have a really nice staircase. And last year when I went, I said to my son, I don't know if I want to go up that staircase. And I said, you go up and tell me if you think I could do it. And he went up, and he did something really sweet. He is on the autism spectrum, although he's very smart. He has a degree, he has a job as a professional, he's a manager. He's not the world's most great with social skills. And he never says, Mom, I love you, or anything like that. I'm gonna get emotional. But when he went up the stairs, I stayed down and was chatting up all the people who I'd bumped into. And he sent me a text from the top where he had taken a picture of me down below. And that's how someone like Samuel says, I love you. They take a picture, they send it to you. So there's all kinds of different people who will enjoy the outdoors in different ways. And that's one of the ways that I enjoy the outdoors with my son, the same way that I enjoyed the outdoors with my dad. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a hiking story before we get down to the falls. I'm actually right above them on a staircase. So I just wanted to, make a confession. But about almost a year ago now, it'll be a year ago in a couple of weeks, I hit a roadblock with hiking. And I had been hiking once or twice a week up until that point for a year or so, year and a half. And my goal for last summer was to start section hiking the AT. And a friend of mine and I had a really fun goal, we thought, for the AT that we were doing. We were visiting shelters, and he loved to read maps and find unique ways to get to the shelters, taking fire roads and stuff like that. And that's fine, that's cool. But we went to you're aiming for the Pochuck Mountain Shelter. And there's a fly on my phone. And he did not plan very well, or he did not read the maps very well. And it was a hard hike for me. I had never hiked as rugged as that hike was. And not only that, okay, sorry about it. You're totally fine just talking to myself. Hello. You know, we do that sometimes. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. The falls are amazing. Anyway, so we were on Pochuck Mountain, coming down from Pochuck Mountain to the shelter. I could tell you a much better way to go that would not have had the outcome that it did. But not only did he not read maps very well, he also was like obsessed with his cell phone. And so as we were hiking, we had left his car in one spot and my car in another spot. And so what happened was, one of the things that happened was he left me on the trail in rough terrain in a place I didn't know because his phone ran out of battery. And so what he did was he left me without saying he was leaving me. And he took away, not the same way that we came, but a different way back to get his car. So I was on the AT in a very rugged place, trying to get around, not knowing how far I had to go or any of that. It was not fun. It was very scary for me. And I kept saying, I've said to him many times before, because after it didn't last much longer, but I would say to him, abandonment issues, trust issues, etc. Which is why I don't mind doing out and back hikes, and he would only do loops because he got too bored, he said, going on back front, whatever they're called, out and backs. So anyway, I was traumatized. And after that, I literally got scared of hiking. And the more I didn't hike, the less I wanted to hike. And starting in November, I started to work with a personal trainer to get my confidence back. And I started hiking again in small chunks. And so I got my courage back. And I'm back hiking again. I've hiked a couple times per week, not too long, not too treacherous. And today I'm out here without my poles because I wasn't expecting to come here. I was expecting to go to Dingman's, which doesn't have as many stairs and is less rugged than over here, but Dingman's is closed. So I'm being brave. I'm telling you that story. Just like I was talking about mobility, and we all hike for different reasons. We all have different goals. For me, hiking is about memory. It's about being out in nature. It's about getting to know myself, getting to know the people that I'm with, getting to know the area, the history, all of that. I really love it. And so I just wanted to be vulnerable today and share that with you because hiking's been important to me for a long time. Since the pandemic, I started doing the 52 hikes in 52 weeks challenge. And I had a near-death experience in 2019, and then in 2021, I had multiple family members die. And since then, it was like one crisis after another. So getting back into hiking is a way to reclaim who I am and to honor those who aren't here anymore and who can't hike. I can. So anyway, just want to put all that out there and say thanks for watching. More people are coming. Here is your first falls at the top of the falls. Love these falls. Warning for this next shot, you're going to be looking down the falls, so look away if you're uncomfortable with that. It's pretty steep, pretty steady. They are high. I think it has to be. That's where I would love it. For this entire YouTube video. Feel free to turn the volume down and just watch if you don't want to hear about the metaphor.
It was interesting for me to watch the clips and see how haltingly I talked about the story of being abandoned on the AT by my supposed friend. There is clearly some healing still left to do. The interesting thing for me as a former mental health worker and special ed professional was to see how halting my speech became and how I lost words, which is one of the most frustrating aspects of depression in my personal flavor. A writer who loses her words. This is what we might call block looks like. Fear due to an actual experience. My attempts to talk on the video are the first metaphorical steps to the other side. Healing. Do you relate to any of this in your life or in a circumstance with you? I'd enjoy hearing more in the comments, or you may always send me a direct message. You can see in the description where you might reach me. Our visit going back to where the falls begin. I like to call this part the on-ramp. As we begin to walk back up to the parking lot, you can see this fence here where they are working to restore this land back to its natural state. I appreciate all of the ongoing efforts on either side of the trail. Since the Raymondskill Trail was so short, I decided to walk a bit of the McDade Trail, which runs alongside the Delaware River and is 29 miles long. Pretty decent length of a trail for someone like me who's restarting. But it also gave me a really inspirational thought. You know how I said earlier, I talked a bit about my experience with my friend who deserted me on the Appalachian Trail at Pochuck Mountain? To bring that back to the full story, the end of it is, I made my way down the hill and I had my cell phone. For me, there's no reason to have your cell phone on when you're on the trail, or at least not much. Where we were, there was no connectivity anyway, so why have it on? So when I got to the bottom, I called an Uber. And I was sitting there waiting for my Uber, and he came back. My friend came back. And so in a moment of pure relief, I turned off my Uber request and got a ride back to my car. That's not quite the end of the story, but it was the end of my story of hiking, the tragic end of it last time. And so this trail, I have driven alongside of it because it goes right up and down the Delaware River here in the Delaware Water Gap. And I thought, this is a trail that I could revisit, and I could go in bits and pieces of it and do research like my friends Kay and Ro do. Maybe this is something I can do this summer that will stretch me, but that isn't scary, that has an easy terrain, and yet I'll feel accomplished. So I may have set myself up for a new success, a new experience, and something that I can do that will be challenging, and I can do it. So thank you for helping me to birth this idea by coming alongside me, listening to my story. And this will give you something to come back to. Look at these with these vines and stuff. And this, I'm not sure what this is. So I'm going to go over there and take a picture and end the video. So thanks. And I'll keep you updated here on the channel as to what's going on.